One thing I feel compelled to mention in this video is that many of you have likely never experienced a woman chasing you at all, much less having your pick of the litter or being able to walk into any room, any city, any place, anywhere knowing that you have game, social charisma, and the confidence to actually get the results that you want. Okay, so it has lethal potential. Getting to that point is like a complete unlocking, and it's why I'm so enthusiastic about teaching this topic. And if you've never had a woman chase you before, this video will shed a ton of light on the situation. First of all, this isn't a huge deal, but I'm going to let it stand out. That brings us to our first point. Number 1. Always make things look easy and effortless. You can never put too much effort into something. Let's talk about how important it is for men to present themselves as perfect in every way. You want it to sound effortless, as if you're never putting in any extra effort. One of the quickest ways to master this is to always trust your instincts. To accomplish this, ensure that your speech is always clear and focused. Further, you can practice giving clear, logical responses to questions. Could like yes, but not as a full sentence. Inconsistencies between one's thoughts and actions, such as, well, I kind of feel like I'm here and you're not, and that is not going to work, are not examples of strong, congruent masculine energy. And it's that kind of vitality that will convince her that you weren't preselected after all. Okay, the first requirement for success is to make it look easy. Smoothness in your voice comes from within. To get where you want to go, you must first accept that your current self has not necessarily been the best choice. This means abandoning the notion that you must alter who you are in order to improve. You should instead reassure yourself that being unique is possible and acceptable. It's beneficial to learn this new set of abilities. And if you adopt this new set of abilities, you will achieve the desired outcomes. That's the first thing to do. Number 2, preselection. For the sake of selection, it is imperative that you pretend to have other female companions. But even if you don't, you still need to put on a little bit of a front in order to succeed. And here's why. You absolutely, positively must have access to other women, or at least give the impression that you do. For women, the most important thing is to be valued. One way to demonstrate value is to enter a bar or nightclub with a woman on your shoulder, or to approach a group of 3 or 4 women and confidently introduce yourself and get to know them without any ulterior motives. In any event, you'll want to be handpicked beforehand. And now, the catch. The desire for authority among women is widespread. Women prefer men who are dominant and self-motivated, but the reality is that 99.99% of men have no such qualities. They don't always work out well. You do realize that they are not necessarily of the highest rank or social standing, right? No, they're not necessarily well-known figures. They aren't well-known athletes at all. That's a tiny fraction of male society. How does the average Joe make it look like they've been there when they show up? Managing your physical self is the first step. More importantly, you have complete command over your nonverbal communication. If your shoulders are rounded and your chest is stooped, try straightening them out. Okay. You can lose weight and get in shape if you're overweight. You can express your inner slob with the help of loose, baggy clothing. You must appear as if, and more importantly, your confidence is what stands out most when you look selected. When your outward appearance corresponds to your inner presentation, when your voice corresponds to your clothes, and when your demeanor corresponds to your appearance, it's as if everything clicked into place. She's like that. She can recognize you and file you away in her mind with just a glance. There's a discrepancy in some guys' behavior, possibly communicated via text message. They are brave enough to be extremely attractive. They either try to play a game of get to know you online to hide their social awkwardness and poor communication skills in real life. She's probably thinking, I had high interest, but now you're trying to be my boyfriend, as she sits there thinking about it. Men who have been preselected do not lend themselves to being crisscrossed because they maintain a uniform character. They have self-assurance and are honest to a fault. They know who they are. They have a clear sense of their own identities. They are aware of how they come across and where the conversation is likely to go. And since they want to go there, fear isn't always an issue. Either she'll join us or she won't, and if she doesn't, well. And with that, I'll say goodbye and move on to my next point. Number 3. Care zero. You just don't care. With regards to women, you must not give a damn about anything. Because a man's emotions will never serve him, the care zero principle is a cornerstone of success. Eye contact, flirting, smiling, smirking, sub-communicating, and even teasing silence can elicit strong emotions from that woman. That is absolutely crucial. Don't even try to ignore this. In this world, the one who cares the least is the one in charge. Whoever doesn't give a damn is in charge. When people are free to come and go as they please and say what they want without worrying about being judged or offending others, then you'll need to put your winning strategy into action and play. Now I'll make my 4th point. Number 4. You should always aim to win. A lot of guys just play to avoid losing. How does one go about playing to win with a female partner? Well, as a high-value man or as someone who seems to have been preselected, you're not afraid to take the conversation where it needs to go, which is what playing to win looks like. Allow me to illustrate with an example. Although I'm not a big fan of online dating, I know some of you are. Assume a woman does not appear as you expected her to. The typical dater will sit there and reassure her, well, it was a great date, but they're not the 99% who will. Despite wasting your time for 45 minutes to an hour and his money on the date, it was nice meeting you. In contrast, the guy who is in it solely for the win places a high premium on his own time. Right? And he's content to simply leave or get up and say, yeah, I don't think this dating thing is for me. I'll see you later. As a result, you could consider that rude. There are those who might argue that this is not always the case. Truth be told, if you don't do these things, you won't be brave enough to take the necessary steps. You'll find that there's a certain buy-in temperature when talking to women. The smiles, the raised eyebrows, and the smirks she gives you will all be giveaways. When she's in one of her moods of extreme sensitivity, you could practically grab her by the throat. In that case, it's fine, but only when you're actually playing to win. You'll be able to create value out of thin air by capitalizing on actions, decisions, and developments that take place in a fraction of a second. Feeling confident in your decision to act is similar to knowing you are making the right choice. That's awesome, by the way. What women like about men who have confidence in themselves is that when they make a move, it tends to be the right one. You do it because you know in your heart that what you're doing is right. You see, women are the receivers of your energy. To top it all off, she can tell when you're playing with an aggressive mindset and is consequently angry. Subcommunication is the source of even this. Number 5. Figure out where she's weak and exploit that. Women have their quirks, and you should exploit them. You can give them any name you like, as long as it's something that will exploit her vulnerabilities. Let's say you're being intimate with a woman and she does something unexpected. When you grab the back of their neck while doing it, they become extremely fragile or sensitive. Okay, or perhaps there is a certain amount of eye contact or a certain gesture you can make where she will even say things like, "Why are you looking at me like that?" Or "I can't control myself when you give me that look." Every woman has her own little quirks that set her apart from the rest. You should use them right away. When using them, your performance must give the impression of being effortless. Okay, so this is coming from a place of self-assurance and internal consistency. So give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again soon.